Hi, you guys. Erin here. This is a little recording for an astrological update and really about the new moon that we're having on February 11th. Okay, this is kind of an extra spectacular new moon in the sign of Aquarius. Okay, now new moons, every new moon is a time for new beginnings. It's representative of the time when the seed is in the soil and first of all deciding whether it wants to sprout at all, but also which direction it wants to grow in. That's what new moons are. It's our time for new growth, new beginnings. Okay, so what I'm going to do actually is I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen with you and show you what the heavens are going to look like on February 11th. So first of all, I work with geocentric Western astrology using a Placidus format. And, honestly, I feel very strongly that pretty much all forms of astrology, there's something to them. There's accuracy to all of them. And the reason that I choose to usually work with Western astrology is it tends to manifest more in our physical experience here. Okay. But I mean, really, it's ideally you want to use all of them combined, but we're just going to simplify things and work with Western astrology for right now. Now, first of all, Earth would be right here. Okay. Earth is right in the middle. And here's where all the celestial bodies are around us on Earth on February 11th. You can see the date up here if you follow my mouse. This is February 11th, 2021 at 11:05 a.m. Pacific time. Now, for starters, what we can see here is all the celestial bodies are on one half of the chart, okay? And this particular combination of aspects it's usually referred to as a bowl, okay? Like here's the bowl. Now, when everything is in the bowl, it puts everybody on a mission. It's kind of out of balance. There's nothing over here. Everybody's leaning in this direction. And again, it's like putting everybody on a mission. And it happens, but it's definitely not always that we're going to see everything on one half of the chart. Now, new moons occur when the sun, this is the sun, and the moon, this is the moon, are in the same degree. We can see here 23 degrees Aquarius. This is the symbol for the sign of Aquarius. You can actually probably see it a little clearer right here, but this is the symbol for the sign of Aquarius. And then we get into the minutes, the nitty gritty, the 16 minutes. So the sun is at 23 degrees Aquarius and 16 minutes. The moon is at 23 degrees Aquarius and 16 minutes. So they are in the exact same spot. That's what happens when we have a new moon. In fact, going back to that seed that's been planted, when any two celestial bodies are in the same place or very close together, it's considered a conjunction. Okay. In fact, we can see some other conjunctions right here. This is Mercury. The moon is not exactly conjunct, but it's considered close enough to be conjunct. The moon is conjunct Mercury. Mercury is conjunct Venus. Okay. Venus is conjunct Jupiter. And that's part of the reason why this new moon is such a big deal, because all these things are all squished into together in the sign of Aquarius. But here we have the sun and the moon exactly conjunct. Okay. Now, in astrology, the moon is considered the mother of the heavens. The sun is the father. Okay. So when they are conjunct, any two celestial bodies, when they're conjunct, they blend together and work basically as one. So this is the mother and the father coming together and creating a new experience, a new life. Mother and father come together and create a child, for example. So this is the time for new growth, new beginnings, when sun and moon are just like that. Okay, so now this is really a 6-month cycle. And we have a new moon basically every single month. So every month we have a time for new beginnings that are going to be projected out into the next approximately 6 months. And the way that works is, again, here's the sun and here's the moon. Over the next 6 months, the sun is going to go halfway through the zodiac, because it takes a full year to go around the whole zodiac, to go around every single zodiac sign. So half of that, 6 months, it's going to get halfway through the chart and end up in the sign of Leo. This is the symbol for the sign of Leo. Okay. Leo is opposite Aquarius. over those 6 months, the moon travels much faster than the sun and is going to boogie around this thing 6 times. Okay. While the sun has only gone halfway through the chart, the moon goes around 6 times and is going to eventually land back for the 6th landing spot. It's going to land back up into the sign of Aquarius for a full moon in Aquarius. That's what happens when we have a full moon. The sun is over here, the moon is over here. They're opposite ends of the zodiac, okay? So that 6-month is our growth period for whatever it is we're trying to manifest that has to do specifically with this new moon. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to tie in whatever it is that we're trying to set those new beginnings in with the Aquarius energy. Okay, so Aquarius energy, well, it is represented by the water bearer. It is not a water sign. The signs are either earth, fire, water, or air. Aquarius, a lot of people think that it's a water sign because it kind of sounds like it by its title, Aquarius, but it's not. It's an air sign. Okay, now in astrology, the water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, are associated with emotions, like strong emotions. The air signs, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra, are associated with intellect, like up in the mind. Okay. And this Aquarius energy, the water bearer, okay, that's represented by the water bearer. Aquarius is holding the water bearer, okay? But one of the key words to describe Aquarius energy is to detach, okay? And what the water bearer does is it detaches those water emotions. It detaches the emotions from the water and turns that water into intellectual information. Okay, it's all about information. The water bearer pours that water out. Water always finds its level and is distributed evenly. And this water bearer is pouring it out as information. Now, we are literally being bombarded, flooded with information right now. In my very strong opinion, we are entering into the age of Aquarius. Now, not only because of the information that we were being bombarded with, and this age of Aquarius is a long process, like over 2,000 years. It's not like boom, all of a sudden we're in the age of Aquarius. It's something that happens over time. But we are obviously being flooded. It's like the floodgates have opened it's the information highway. It's a little overwhelming, the amount of information that we're receiving from every angle. Okay, so that's the detach from the emotions, turn it into information, and pour it out for all of humanity to be distributed evenly. Humanitarianism, that is also Aquarius energy. It is the sign of humanitarianism. It's about friends, like as a collective. It's all about universal energy. However, Aquarius is such a dynamic energy. It is the sign of everybody all as one, but it's also a unique energy. This all being one, it's okay for us all to have our own little unique differences. It's about being against status quo, kind of being different and being ahead of the game, wanting to be inventive. Aquarius energy is also very much associated with genius energy. Those people who can just kind of like come out with a brilliant idea out of nowhere. That's very Aquarius energy. Aquarius is also very, very much associated with technology. It's very clear to me that we're definitely in the age of technology, that's for sure. And that's not going anywhere anytime soon. So the symbol for the sign of Aquarius, these little waves right here, they're often related to the waves of the water as the water bearer is pouring it out. But let's remember that this water that the water bearer is pouring out is information. This is like an electrical current right here. This is basically universal electricity going out to everybody. Okay. Again, technology, humanitarianism, people for the people. It's quite rebellious. This energy can be quite rebellious because it wants freedom. It's kind of anti-establishment. It wants its own unique freedom. It wants to be free and revolutionary. Revolutionary is another very strong key word to describe the Aquarius energy. So when we're trying to manifest new beginnings that have to do with all this Aquarius energy, there's so much that can be made with this. There's so much that can be manifested. Anything. So we're really deciding which direction we want to grow in, okay, for this new moon in Aquarius. Anything that has to do with technology, humanitarianism, people for the people, being rebellious, being sort of against status quo, detaching from strong emotions, detaching from that which no longer serves you, new beginnings for all that. Now, furthermore, we see here, this is Mercury, also conjunct the moon, okay, and the sun, because they're close enough to be considered a conjunction. Mercury is blended in there. Now, Mercury will be in retrograde for this new moon. This is the symbol for retrograde here. Mercury at 16 degrees Aquarius, 16 minutes retrograde, okay? When Mercury is in retrograde, it's time to reevaluate, rethink our thoughts, run it over through your head over and over. Make sure all your T's are crossed and your I's are dotted. And furthermore, Mercury is considered exalted in the sign of Aquarius, meaning it works with its greatest strength. Mercury, people who have their Mercury in Aquarius tend to be quite genius. They come out with like genius ideas, very, very intellectual. And of course, there's so much more to the natal chart, but for the most part, if your Mercury's in Aquarius, you're stoked. Okay. And so it's Mercury is working with its greatest strength, retrograding. We can really utilize this energy for rethinking all of those things that we are planning for. Also, Mercury has a lot to do with communication. Rethink what it is that you're trying to communicate. Okay. And then we have Venus. Venus is about partnerships and romance, also can be tied in with money. Okay. So Venus is considered conjunct Mercury, Jupiter. Just Mercury. Well, I guess Saturn too. So, these guys are all working together in the sign of Aquarius. So this could actually lead to a little bit of detachment with relationships or partnerships. But generally speaking, when all these guys are squished together, again, they're just blending in as one. Now, Jupiter makes energies bigger. Jupiter is the expander, brings abundance and luck, okay? And so here it is conjunct Mercury and Venus, making these energies bigger and stronger, making that Aquarius energy more of abundance. And then there's Saturn, which creates restrictions and limitations and makes things tighter. It's kind of like, for lack of a better term, the good and the bad of this Aquarius energy. So it's like just relating this Aquarius energy to technology. Technology is wonderful and we have an abundance of it right now, but it's also not so good. There's some very dangerous things about technology. Even just using my devices right now, I'm exposing myself to an abundance of radiation. Okay. And I actually always keep myself protected with all kinds of stones and minerals. This is aragonite. This is black tourmaline. Another really good one for protection is lapis. Okay. So I'm always keeping myself protected. I'm also sitting on something called an earthing pad or a grounding pad that keeps me connected to earth. Our bodies, basically our heart is like a battery, and just like a battery, it needs the positive and the negative ions. We are constantly receiving positive ions from the sun. Really, we're receiving positive ions from the sun. We should be receiving negative ions from earth, but because we wear shoes and live in houses and work in office buildings, we're not receiving those negative ions. An earthing pad or grounding pad is an excellent way to make sure that you are staying grounded and protecting yourself against this, the radiation from smart meters and Wi-Fi and all that kind of stuff. Okay, now let's see. Obviously, I love working with stones. I love working with minerals and gemstones. And what I usually do for my new moon ritual or full moon ritual is I find stones that resonate well with the sign in which the new moon or full moon takes place. Okay, so the dedicated zodiacal birthstone for the sign of Aquarius is amethyst. There's a piece of amethyst. I'm actually wearing an amethyst ring right now. As you can see, this amethyst is much darker than this. The darker the amethyst stone, the more protection you're going to receive. The lighter the stone, the more of an amplifier it is. That's one of the reasons I love amethyst so much, is because it is a protector and an amplifier at the same time. It's a super high vibrational again, like connects to futuristic energy, that amethyst stone. Now, this little piece right here is a great example. You can get one of these tiny little pieces of amethyst anywhere online, Etsy or whatever. I mean, I always try to recommend that people, support your local mom and pop crystal shop. But you can get one of these guys for anywhere between like 50 cents and $3 max. And they're wonderful, very powerful stone, again, protective and amplifying. Now, not everybody owns amethyst and not everybody wants to own amethyst. So some other stones that resonate very well with this energy would be amber. I actually put my amber necklace on for you guys today. This is one, it's really good for clarity. It's really good for, that, again, that mental function. It's also really good for healing. Resonates very well with the Aquarius energy. Also something called hematite. This is another one that's very protective. It's like a super shiny black gray stone, super protective stone. Sometimes I like to put that in my water. And also this is something called angelite. This is like a light blue, almost pastel stone, super pretty stone. Another one that's actually really good for healing energies. Okay, now another thing is that each zodiac sign represents certain functions in our body, certain parts of our body. The sign of Aquarius is actually, it rules over like our calf area, like between our knees and our feet. A lot of times, let's say if somebody has their sun in Aquarius and it's maybe challenged by Saturn or something that's making a challenging aspect with a challenging celestial body, these people can tend to have like issues with that, like swollen ankles and that sort of thing. Aquarius also rules the circulatory system. Um, this can be, again, if you've got a challenged sun in Aquarius, you may deal with circulation issues. Okay. A really good stone for that is poppy jasper. This is another one that's very affordable, really, really good for circulation. Okay. So if you're an Aquarius, I do suggest, especially at Aquarius with a challenged sun, carrying around a piece of poppy jasper is definitely a good idea. So I think I'm going to leave it at that. Now, I'm speaking from a collective angle here. I'm speaking like this, we all experience this new moon together. But if you really want to get down into the nitty gritty of things, if you really want to work with moon magic, you can see where this new moon manifests, or any new moon manifests in your own natal chart. Okay. Now, I'm not going to bore my audience too terribly and have them sit through this in this video, but I do have another video on YouTube. It's called Manifesting with the Moon. And in that video, I will show you specifically how to see where new moons and full moons manifest for you in your own natal chart, what house they manifest in. It could be manifesting in your house of relationships. It could be manifesting in your house of career. It could be manifesting in your house of money. It could be manifesting in your house of self. And this is where things get fabulous. You can take this Aquarius energy and manifest, very specifically what you want to come into fruition, working with which house it is manifesting in your own natal chart. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to leave it at that, guys. If you would like to schedule an astrology reading with me, you can check out my website, which is erinwageastrology.com. That's ERINWAAGE astrology.com, or you can just send me an email at erinwageastrology@gmail.com. Again, that's ERINWAAGE astrology@gmail.com. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Until next time, namaste to all of you.